Okay, welcome to the Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting for Tuesday, September 23rd, 2025. We're called to order. We're going to call the roll. Alderman Barnhill.
Present.
Alderman Blanton.
Here.
Alderman Caesar.
Here.
Alderman Peterson.
Here.
Alderman Berger.
Present.
Alderman Brown.
Present.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Present.
Alderman Baggett. And the mayor is here also. We're going to begin with an invocation tonight. I'll ask Alderman Barnhill to lead in that. I'll lead in the Pledge of Allegiance, but I have a special request tonight that we all take a moment of silence prior to Alderman Barnhill giving the invocation. You know, we recently memorialized the events of 9/11 and the impact on our country. We've seen a heightened political division within our country. We've seen growing political violence against elected officials and people that are expressing their opinion. And I would say in your moment of silence, consider embracing the others maybe with different opinion and having some civil dialogue with them. So, Alderman Barnhill, we'll first start with a moment of silence.
Heavenly Father, we come to you tonight in prayer. Thank you for this great nation that we live in, a nation of freedoms, a nation that is in some turmoil right now. We ask that you be with our national leaders as they make decisions. We know that there's constant disagreement, but we would ask that you be with the people who are in disagreement. Help all of us understand and be considerate of other people. We ask that you also be cognizant of the work that our first responders do, the military, and those that protect and guide protect our freedoms and give us the choices that we have. We ask that you be with us as aldermen. Give us spiritual wisdom and guidance as we make decisions that ultimately affect the direction that the city goes. This prayer we offer in Christ's name. Amen.
Amen. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The next item on the agenda is setting of the agenda. Are there any changes of order that anyone would like to make as far as the agenda tonight? If not, I'd entertain a motion to accept the agenda as listed.
Make a motion to accept the agenda as listed.
Second.
Second by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill?
Yes.
Alderman Blanton?
Yes.
Alderman Caesar?
Yes.
Alderman Peterson?
Yes.
Alderman Berger?
Yes.
Alderman Brown?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts?
Yes.
Alderman Baggett?
No.
Passes 7-1. Next is an opportunity for citizen comments. I have a number of people that want to speak tonight, and I'll call them up and ask them to limit their comments to 2 minutes. I'm going to take the liberty to have the folks that want to speak on an item that is on the consent agenda. I'm going to have them speak now. So we're going to start out with something other than item number 14, and that'll be Mike Ingram about the art crawl. And then I will ask Alec Chambers, Clive Crow, Kennedy Adams, Patrick Collins, Valerie Williams, Greg Gamble, and Glenn McGee.
Thank you, sir. My name's Mike Ingram. I'm president of the Arts Council of Williamson County. I took over the job 2.5 years ago. We have been through some tough times lately. The Tennessee Alcoholic Beverage Commission canceled down anything we were serving alcohol. Some of the venues were serving alcohol. I was hoping things would just keep running along smoothly, but unfortunately they haven't. A lot of people are very upset, and I've spent a lot of time talking to the TABC and various other people trying to get some kind of a solution to how we can get some alcohol back. So I need your help. That's what I need. A lot of the things that I've discussed with the TABC, they said, well, we can do that. It'll cost you $1,500 a month. The Arts Council doesn't have that kind of money. So there are possibilities. There are ways that I think we could do this. And that's why I'm here, to get some input from you guys and gals. And hopefully we can keep the art crawl going. One thing about the art crawl is I'm affiliated with 58 nonprofits. And these people, I have told, a lot of them have already taken part in the art crawl to get their name out there, like the Humane Society and people like that. And the next art crawl, we've got 22 nonprofits are going to be set up at the Catholic Church. And that's what I told my board when I took over the job. I want to support the artists, the merchants, but I want to help out these nonprofits. I think that's a worthwhile goal. And, we've had, Olivia Oil was telling me Thursday, I went around and talked to everybody on Main Street. Her business is down 70% since the alcohol left. And I heard that same story all over town. And they're thinking about just dropping out of the art crawl. The art crawl would go away. And I'm committed with these 58 nonprofits to have them join the art crawl. And I need some help to make this happen. I think it's a very worthwhile project. And everybody loves the art crawl that I know. Pardon me?
If you'll finish up your time.
Okay. So I'm asking for your help. If anybody's got any solutions, let me know. I know Matt. I've talked to Matt. So
Thank you.
thank you.
Alex Chambers, Clive Crawl, Kennedy Adams, Patrick Collins, Valerie Williams, Greg Gamble, Glenn McGee, if you'll line up, please. Go ahead, please.
Mayor, Board, once again, just want to say thank y'all for your consideration of Ovation. I really don't have a presentation tonight. We've dissected this 1,000 different ways. Just want y'all to know if you have any additional questions, we have our whole design team here, including Kennedy Adams, who I don't believe has been here before, to talk about any specific traffic questions. So thank you for your time.
Hi, my name's Clive Graw, retired traffic engineer. 24 years I was in development review, so I've looked at hundreds of traffic studies. I'm here for the third time to sound the alarm. The other 2 times, no one even seemed to blink. Do you doubt my credibility or prefer to listen to the developers' consultants who have a vested interest? Your own study shows, and I sent this to everyone, shows that there's 5 level of service intersections that are F. That means overcapacity. And as a traffic engineer, I've not seen more than one that's in. When you put 5 together, it's going to be a domino effect. It's going to multiply, and the backups are going to be throughout. No city, even Los Angeles, would approve a development if it triggered only one of these, much less 5. The result is going to be cut through. Traffic, it'll divert to streets like Oxford Glen and neighborhoods like McKay's Mill. The developer claims they're entitled to build more. No, it's currently approved for what counts. They insist their study is highly accurate and triple checked. In fact, their study is flawed and grossly underestimates the project trips, which I don't have time to get into. They can add extra lanes and adjust signal timing to fix overcapacity problems at intersections. But once intersections are at capacity, you cannot force more traffic through. The only real solution is to reduce the project density. This proposal adds 644 housing units and 1.2 square feet of commercial space. That means 5,400 PM peak hour trips, nearly 50,000 daily trips. That's twice Nissan Stadium traffic on game day. Why approve this much traffic? There's going to be delays to heart attack and stroke victims at Williamson Medical Center. Traffic signals can't be preempted when they're jammed to capacity. So I urge you, do not approve this as it stands. Don't let the developers hide the elephant in the room. Demand clear answers on how these 5 failed intersections can be fixed. If you remember nothing else from tonight, please remember this. Your own study shows 5 failed intersections. Approving this project will guarantee gridlock. Please reduce the density before this becomes your legacy. Thank you.
I need to call the names again. I'd ask you to line up, please. Kennedy Adams, Patrick Collins, Valerie Williams, Greg Gamble, and Glenn McGee.
Hi, I'm Kennedy Adams with Kimley Horn, the traffic engineer for the study here, and I'm available for any questions that you might have.
Are you Mr. Collins?
Yes.
Yes, please.
I'm Patrick Collins, live here in Franklin. And you just heard from my neighbor. He did an exhaustive study about this project. And I would question the stewardship ability if you're not thinking about how much at the end of the whole process, they double the size of the place without changing the footprint. What that does to the traffic patterns and traffic in general. So I urge you not to approve. I mean, you've done a lot of work on the project itself, which appears well conceived, but if at the end, the last vote, you put 45% more, that adds terrific density from what, 900 units to 1,600? It's a big change. I would urge you to vote that to not go forward.
Hi, I'm Valerie Williams, and I'm also speaking on the same subject, that Ovation project. I got reading about some of the work that Clive's been doing and have been very impressed with his background. I think he's a very expert, knowledgeable engineer that has extremely a lot of experience in this field, and I would like to see you take his input and really take it seriously. I drive those intersections every day. I am through that area at least once a day, multiple times a day, quite often, and the fact that there will be 5 intersections within a half a mile that will be at overcapacity is very concerning. I think that a lot of people will be taking back roads or avoiding that area any way they can. And if you're going to the hospital, which we all use in that area, it could really impact us in a negative way. So I'm asking you to not approve this expansion and take that out of the options. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor, for this opportunity to speak. My name is Greg Gamble, land planner for both Orium and Ovation. And in 2014, Ovation Master Plan was approved. In 2014-15, a site plan was submitted that showed off-site roadway infrastructure. Improvements were made to McEwen and Crothers at that time in anticipation of Mars Pet Care and in anticipation of phase 1 of Ovation. So road work had been done. In 2025, our traffic engineer submitted a traffic study to the city of Franklin for review. In it, it included Table 10. That's what's been referred to multiple times in presentations to you. Once staff and the third-party engineer reviewed Table 10, they said that the intersection failures aren't acceptable. You need to add another lane on McEwen Drive on the north side and the south side. Appendix G shows you the numbers after those improvements will be made. For instance, at McEwen and Crothers, it takes a failing intersection with 270 seconds of delay to a level of service D through movement going eastbound at a 46-second delay. These improvements that are required were not proposed by the applicant. They were proposed by the staff, and they've been incorporated into the development plan. But we're happy to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Alderman. My name is Glenn McGee. I'm the applicant for Orium, and I just want to let you know I'm here to answer any questions, and we appreciate the process that you've allowed us to go through.
Okay, did we miss anybody that wanted to speak that didn't, I missed their speaker card? If not, I'm going to go ahead and continue to move on, and we'll go to communications from Williamson County Commission. I have none. I think maybe at one time I saw one of the county commissioners somewhere. We'll now go to approval of the minutes from September the 9th, 2025 work session and Board of Mayor and Alderman meeting. I'll entertain a motion.
So moved.
Thank you, Alderman Peterson. Is there a second, Alderman Brown? Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Abstain.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes 7 with 1 abstention. We'll now go to a series of proclamations. And the first proclamation is Community Planning Month. And we have a great crowd of planners that are coming up. It's great to have your staff here. And Planning Commissioner Chair. Yeah, come closer so we can. Okay, listen up for this proclamation. Whereas change is constant and affects all cities, towns, suburbs, counties, boroughs, townships, and rural areas and other places, and whereas planners can help navigate this change with data-driven insights and expertise to provide more choices for how people live, work, and play. And whereas community planning provides an opportunity for all residents to be meaningful, involved in making decisions or choices that determine the future of their community. Whereas the full benefits of planning require public elected and appointed officials who understand, support, and demand excellence in planning and plan implementation. Whereas the month of October is designated as the National Community Planning Month for the United States of America and its territories, and whereas the American Planning Association endorses National Community Planning Month as an opportunity to highlight how planning is essential to every community and how planners are uniquely positioned to identify solutions to communities' most difficult housing, transportation, and land use questions. And whereas the celebration of National Community Planning Month gives the opportunity to publicly recognize the participation, dedication of appointed planning commissioners, members who have contributed their time and expertise to the improvement of the city of Franklin, whereas we recognize the many valuable contributions made by the professional community and regional planners of the city of Franklin, and extend our heartfelt thanks for the continued commitment to public service. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, Tennessee, do hereby proclaim the month of October 2025, you guessed it, Community Planning Month. Great showing. Love a night meeting.
That's a wide shot.
Thank y'all for being here. Okay, and next, we have Fire Prevention Week. Y'all look super sharp tonight.
Thanks, Mayor.
Whereas the city of Franklin, Tennessee is committed to ensuring the safety and security of all those living and visiting Franklin, and whereas fire remains a serious public safety concern both locally and nationally, and the presence of lithium-ion batteries in many household devices introduces unique fire risk. And whereas the National Fire Protection Association reports an increase in battery-related fires, underscoring the need for public education on safe use of lithium-ion batteries. Whereas most of the electronics used in homes daily, including smartphones, tablets, laptops, power tools, e-bikes, scooters, toys, are powered by lithium-ion batteries, which if misused, damaged, or improperly charged, can overheat, start a fire, or explode. And whereas the proper disposal and recycling of lithium-ion batteries help prevent environmental hazards and reduce fire risk, and whereas Franklin residents should follow these key calls to action: buy only listed products, charge batteries safely, and recycle them responsibly to prevent battery-related fires. And whereas Franklin firefighters are dedicated to reducing the occurrence of fires through prevention, safety education, and community outreach, and whereas the 2025 Fire Prevention Week, Charge into Fire Safety, Lithium-ion batteries in your home, serves to remind us of the importance of using charging and recycling lithium-ion batteries safely to reduce the risks of fires in homes and communities. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim October 5 through 11 as Fire Prevention Week. Thanks for bringing that to our attention. And next is the proclamation honoring the 20th anniversary of the Widow of the South. And I know we have some folks here who'd like to come up and be part of this proclamation. Listen up for this proclamation regarding the Widow of the South. Whereas in 2005, New York Times best-selling author and preservationist Robert Hicks published The Widow of the South, a novel that forever changed how Franklin's story was told and shared with the world. And whereas inspired by the true story of Carrie McGavock, whose home at Carnton became a field hospital during the Battle of Franklin, The Widow of the South illuminated Franklin's Civil War history in powerful prose that reached a national and international audience. And whereas the novel not only captivated readers everywhere, but also helped spark greater awareness and momentum for the preservation of Franklin's historic sites, strengthening efforts to protect Carnton, the Carter House, and the very battlefields on which our community stands. And whereas The Widow of the South remains a cornerstone of Franklin's literary and cultural identity, drawing thousands of visitors to our community over the past 2 decades to walk the grounds, hear the stories, and engage with our history in a meaningful way. Whereas Robert Hicks, through this landmark work, reminded us that storytelling has the power to preserve memory, to honor sacrifice, and to inspire stewardship for generations to come. Whereas on this 20th anniversary, we celebrate not only the publication of Widow of the South, but also the ongoing legacy of preservation, education, and cultural enrichment it continues to foster in Franklin. Now, therefore, I, Dr. Ken Moore, Mayor of the City of Franklin, do hereby proclaim 2025 as the 20th anniversary year of the Widow of the South and encourage our citizens to reflect on the power of the story to preserve history, deepening understanding, and inspire future generations.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I didn't get one more, sorry. Try not to get the photo. Thank you.
How are you? It's been a long time. Good to see you.
Okay, any miscellaneous reports as I go back to my seat?
Mayor, I just highlight this weekend is the Pilgrimage Music and Cultural Festival at Harlansdale. So a great event, and sure a lot of folks will enjoy that. It starts a little later this year than it has in previous years, so the gates open at 1 p.m. and music starts at 2 p.m. One of the great benefits we've achieved in the last couple years is we're able to keep traffic open and flowing because we have the sidewalks that connect downtown to Harlansdale and the factory area. But at 8 p.m. we will change that traffic pattern to assist with load out of the festival. So you're good to go. If you can avoid the area, it's probably good for a traffic standpoint, but it's open and flowing throughout the day. But just around 8 p.m. we will change it to all outflow to get that crowd out of Harlansdale in as timely a way as we can. But great event, and thanks to our parks team and our special events team, does a great job of hosting and facilitating the event.
Vice Mayor?
Yes, sir. I just want to recognize Parks Department. They're not expecting this. So Lisa, this is for you and the team. But everybody we've had a couple of events now at Bicentennial Mall, and I feel like every time that we have an event, I see a new aspect of improvement, a little lessons learned. And I attended one this past week, and I'm like, wow, we're really starting to get this right over here at Bicentennial Park. So just thanks to the Parks Department for always being thinking outside the box and everything that y'all do.
Okay, any other miscellaneous reports? If not, we'll go to the consent agenda. And all items on the consent agenda are deemed to be non-controversial and routine in nature by the governing body. They'll be approved as recommended by committee or staff by one motion of the governing body. We're looking at items 14 through 36.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to move for approval with polling number 14 and 15 for discussion.
Appropriate motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Barnhill. Any other discussion?
Order or information, Mr. Mayor? I didn't clearly understand Alderman Berger's motion.
I pulled 14 and 15, so
take
it
them
could
off
be
the
just,
consent agenda.
so we
You're
can
correct.
discuss, yeah,
Okay, thank you.
clear up with you.
Okay, ready to
Aye.
vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
sure.
Alderman Caesar. Alderman Caesar.
I'm sorry, Mayor, I'm looking at staff. Yes.
Okay,
Alderman Peterson.
yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 6, this is new business. Ordinance 2025 is amended. An ordinance to amend as part of an annual update various chapters of the Franklin zoning ordinance text, including signage, uses, street lights, performance agreements, floodplain regulations, state law changes, and to amend the zoning map, including rezoning of 171 Hillview Lane and 370 Franklin Road to the Civic Institutional District and 171 Hill Haven Lane, please correct that for me, and the parcel southwest of Machatcher Parkway and the Aldersgate Way to the Historic Preservation Overlay District. Establish a public hearing on November the 11th, 2025. Kelly.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the first reading of the annual zoning ordinance update. The main topics of this update include addressing halo illumination for signage, canopy sign placement, irregular shapes for hanging projecting arm signs, more flag flexibility for residential properties for temporary flags, adding wrecker service use to the LI or Light Industrial District, allowing performance bonds to secure sureties for performance agreements, listing preferred streetlights for residential neighborhoods to help reduce light pollution. And there are a couple amendments related to state law changes regarding the Board of Zoning Appeals and vesting periods, and the several rezonings that the mayor read into the record. The Planning Commission recommended this ordinance at its August meeting. Happy to answer any questions, and approval is recommended.
Alderman Baggett, you're recognized.
I would like to make a motion on this to change the cumulative time frame for the substantial improvement requirement from 5 years back to the 1 year that had been included in all of the prior meetings that we had as joint conceptual meetings, planning commission meetings, and I think general board discussions. We'd had a couple of discussions on this. It was amended at the planning commission to 5 years. And I understand. I think this is one of those things where, as you all know, I got started in a lot of the work with citizens because of floodplain ordinance, and got to know a lot of residents through that. And even as recently as a few weeks ago, knocking on doors in the floodplain in areas, and what you're seeing is you're seeing people who are not taking up the home raising project because they can't afford it, or they can't find a contractor to do it. And when you walk through and you knock on doors in the floodplain, you know, it's some of the existing affordable housing that we have in our community. But what you're seeing is
I'm going to stop you right there. Would you finish your
has to be a
motion
second.
and-
I
and
apologize.
second,
I did
and
my
then we'll-
motion. I
then
did my
we'll let
motion
you
and
expound.
I kept going. I apologize. Thank you, Mayor. Motion. Would
I think the motion was pretty clear. I think.
the motion was clear, the 5-1.
So is there a second to the?
Thank you.
Thank you. Now,
I apologize for that. And so I think it's important for us to have, not only for those that live in the floodplain, Fifth Avenue, all the commercial buildings on Fifth Avenue run into the same situation. I had a call from one of those business owners where they had to have, get the painting of the interior of their building was counting towards this substantial improvement. And if you follow the rules, there really is a very little way to get those buildings up to speed other than coming into the historic overlay, getting a historic exemption. There are some paths if it's in the historic overlay. What the impetus of this was a staff actually conceived idea. This wasn't my idea. So that it gives homeowners and commercial building owners the ability to make improvements other than raising, if they can even raise it. I was told by one homeowner, they can't even get the one contractor that was contracted to do work with this city to work on the home raising project anymore. And I'm seeing others agree. So I think this is a first step, but I would tell you, this comes with the next step. And the next step is we need to pair with this additional ways to actually deliver flood proofing to residential and commercial units before they hit the 50% and can't afford or find a contractor to do it. And it's exponentially expensive. So, for instance, on the residential side, now this is not included in this amendment, but I would encourage staff to find ways to do this. Like if you have to replace your HVAC, that requires a floodplain permit, and it should be raised above the flood level. That isn't required now. If you have various things like that I think we can do over time that will actually deliver us more flood-proof houses, instead of right now, what is happening is no one submitting for floodplain permits for all the things it's required for. We've had not one that is required to have been raised due to this substantial improvement rule. It's been because of either a fire that has caused substantial damage, or it has been because of a flood or something else, and not because of this. This rule has actually led to no changes in the flood proofing. But what it has done is prohibited businesses from opening up on Fifth Avenue. It's prohibited a variety of things. And so if you wonder how severe this is, what the impact is, you don't have to wonder, because the community rating system, which is a FEMA standard, has already assigned a points level to the level of importance that this is versus the other controls that we have in our ordinance that we are not changing. And I believe, if someone will correct me, I think this is 3 points, 2 points, 1 point.
Good evening. I believe
if this changes, it will drop 90 points, but it is not enough to drop us from the level 8 to level 9. We
I
would
was
not go back.
Wrong on my points by a long shot. I apologize. But 90 points, it does not, though, change our points from, it would not take us from a 8 to a 7.
9.
Or 8 to
It goes
the
opposite. Yes.
Would not go to 8 to 9. So no insurance impact. Again, I don't think this is the end of it. I think with this comes also additional things that we can put in place to actually deliver some more flood-proof and proof homes. I'm all for it. I hope staff is all for it too. And we find some ways other than just kind of going with whatever this says, the 5 years, and let's find some ways to actually deliver some more flood-proofing to our homes rather than kind of what's been happening, which really, am I right that no homes because of voluntary reporting of improvements to homes, 0 have been raised?
None have been triggered to raise.
Ever?
Simply
Probably.
based on
Simply
this.
based on this rule.
Yeah.
It's not doing anything. And that's not, doesn't mean it's not important. It just means that I think the negative consequences of this, I think, and if you ask the homeowners and the business owners that have to deal with this, I think the negative impacts are actually much worse than the 0 amount of benefit that it has delivered thus far. So anyway, that's my 2 cents. But Planning Commission, it doesn't get to make the decision on the zoning ordinance, and so I would ask that you would consider the motion.
Alderman Peterson.
I was going to say, the staff recommended keeping it 5 years. You know, and not saying that it had to be substantial improvement, you know, changed from 5 years to 1 year. But staff had recommended keeping 5 years there. So to your point, that I think that needs to be, we need to make that change.
Any other comments? I would make one comment quickly if I could. I have some concern about putting a historic preservation overlay on the Prop 54 acres that the city owns or utility district owns. And I would ask that maybe the board thoughtfully consider removing the historic preservation, not applying the historic preservation overlay over that property.
Okay.
Since we are the owners, and I think that we are good stewards of our property, and I think in the future that could potentially imperil its uses that we might want on it, so.
I would make
So, Mr. Mayor, point of order. The comment that you made, does that require a motion to be made from the board?
I think I would consider it be an amendment to the original motion, which was to approve as read item 6 with the exception of changing the time frame from 5 years to 1 year, and this would be amendment to that motion.
So this is a friendly amendment to the motion?
Would I need to call?
No, I need an amendment.
So we need to vote on the current amendment before the second amendment?
No, you made a motion that specified approving everything is listed and changing 5 to 1. And I considered that an entire motion and not an amendment to the motion.
I didn't make the original motion.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
Yeah, you did.
You did.
Am I correct?
You are.
So I would look for an amendment now to the original motion concerning the 54 acres, if that's the desire of the board.
Yes. Mr. Mayor, I'll make it. I will submit to the board an amendment for approval addressing the 54 acres to keep it outside of the historic overlay.
I'll second that.
Appropriate
Second.
motion. Second. Any discussion on the amendment to the original motion? Seeing none, let's vote on the amendment. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll go back now to the original motion as amended. Any other discussion on that? Alderman Peterson.
We're saying though that, exactly what did we take out? Because
Went from 5 to 1.
Went from 5 to 1.
Remove that.
just
Yeah.
remove the from 5 to 1.
Can you restate?
No, we
No.
modified, we changed the 5 to a 1 as far as the averaging of the investment in a
Yeah.
home.
Oh, wait a minute. I thought it said going from 5 to 1, but I thought we were going to put it back to for 5 years.
That's
No,
what
that's-
planning.
Maintaining 5.
What?
As it's written right now, it maintained the 5, the current 5. The motion changed it to 1.
Even though he didn't remember it, that's what he said.
That's
Oh, wait. That's what we're voting on. Wait just a minute.
That was the motion.
Okay, now where is that on here?
Well, the action was to not change what it is. It's currently 5 years.
Oh, not change.
So what was proposed originally maintained the 5-year standard. And Alderman Baggett's motion was to modify it to the 1-year cumulative substantial improvement. And then the second motion, or the amendment, added the change in the historic preservation overlay. So you have
Okay,
two
I understand
actions.
about the
They're
historic,
modifying what you have here.
but right here, it says on here, floodplain standards from use, reduce the cumulative time frame for substantial improvement and substantial damage from 5 years to 1 year.
I know. I actually was confused about that too in the memo.
That's in the presentation and that was in, yeah.
In the memo, it says it on the top part. It says that the planning commission voted to amend it, but down in the bottom bullet points, it says that it's 5 to 1. But that was amended by planning commission back to 5.
Okay,
Yes.
And I understand. I understand where you're coming from.
okay.
But the motion is
Point of information, what is the year amount that you're proposing?
1 year.
Okay.
1 year is what I'm proposing, which is what was been discussed in all the other meetings. But
Well, I'm against saying that it had to have substantial improvement in 1 year.
No, it's not that it has to have substantial improvement. This has to do with
The running
cumulative
total.
cost of improving a home that's had flood damage. It would only occur over 1 year rather than a 5-year accumulation.
Yeah.
yes,
Right.
All question.
Still not sure I understand that.
Question's been called. Any opposition? If not, we'll go ahead and vote on the motion that's been amended. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
No.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
yes.
Passes 7-1. Item 7 is ordinance 2025-24 to amend Title 23 of the City of Franklin Municipal Code to revise definitions, clarify requirements, and correct grammatical and typographical errors in the stormwater management ordinance established public hearing October 14th, 2025. Thank you. Seconded by the Vice Mayor. Any discussion? Seeing none, ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. We'll now go to item 8, which is ordinance 2025-45 to amend ordinance 2003-52 to modify assistance for eligible residents of the City of Franklin in accordance with the State of Tennessee Property Tax Relief Program establishing public hearing for October the 14th, 2025. Is there a motion?
I move to approve.
Second.
Second by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 9 is ordinance 2025-46 to amend Title 7, Chapter 5 of the Franklin Municipal Code to adopt the NFPA 101 Life Safety Code, edition 2024. Is there a motion?
Move for approval.
Second.
Second by Alderman Peterson. Any discussion? Seeing none, ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett. Passes unanimously. Item 10 is ordinance 2025-47 to amend Title 7, Chapter 2 of the Franklin Municipal Code to adopt the International Fire Code 2024 edition.
Move for approval.
Thank you, Alderman Blanton. Seconded by Alderman Caesar. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
And Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item number 11, consideration of Amendment 1, City of Franklin Contract 2022-0247 with Clovercroft Holding LLC for Parkland Impact Fee and Construction Agreement for Navara PUD. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Seconded by Alderman Berger. Motion by Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Ready to vote. Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 12 is consideration of certificate of compliance to sell wine and retail food store for Grace Franklin LLC on 230 Franklin Road, Suite 12B. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Alderman Blanton. Any discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Item 13 is consideration certificate of compliance for liquor license for Smoky Barrel LLC, 595 Hillsborough Road, Suite 327, Franklin, Tennessee. Is there a motion?
Move to approve.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. Is there a second? By Alderman Brown. Any discussion? Seeing none. Alderman Baggett, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alderman, Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Alderman Berger. Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Barnhill. Is there any other business to come before this body?
Yeah, we'll talk about
Point of
14
order.
and 15.
What was all of that?
Yeah, 14, 15.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. There was an upheaval at the Board of Mayor and Aldermen over not considering items 14 and 15. So we're going to now consider consideration ordinance 2025-20, an ordinance to rezone 103.93 acres from Planned PD District, commonly called the Ovation Project. Is there a motion? Thank you. Second by Alderman, Vice Mayor rather. Alderman Berger, you're recognized.
I would like some of the traffic studies to be, we've had a lot of comments on here tonight. And we've had 2 professional studies done on this, and also the city has weighed in on this. This development was approved in 2014. They are entitled to build today, as is. They brought us back a different plan, tweaked plan, let's put it that way, with a lot of improvements there. I just want to clarify, and this will be also for number 15 as well, and welcome to do it, but I just would like to, I know the traffic engineer is here, Mr. Mayor. I know that our staff, Paul Holzen, is here. Maybe Paul, as a staff member, you could speak to the legitimacy of these studies. Also, the Cool Springs major study that looks at 30 developments and 16 intersections. And also that I believe a gentleman, if he's not still here, I guess it was not that important for him to stick around. I don't know. But anyway, I believe, I looked at this traffic study in detail, and I believe he was going on the traffic and the intersections before the required improvements were put out to the developers. And now we are doing 6 lanes, and we're doing new lanes onto the interstate. Paul, could you speak to that, please, just to clear that up? I want to make sure that the public knows that the city staff and the aldermen, we're doing our job here. We're just not willy-nilly going to approve something that's going to make our intersections enough all the time. But I will remind everyone, we are in an urban area. everywhere in America, in an urban area, you're going to have problems at 5 o'clock at your intersections, unless you want to build a runway for a jet plane. And I don't think we want that in Franklin. So, and even if we did, we would fill those up. So, so I just want to say that we are, staff has been amazing on this and doing your due diligence, looking at all the studies that come in here. So Paul, could you speak to that?
Yeah, so Greg Gamble was correct that the gentleman was referencing the wrong table. It's actually buried in the appendix, which is a little bit odd. We don't typically bury that part of the study in the appendix, but I could see why he misunderstood it. I'll say we've done that Cool Springs transportation study in that regional commerce area. It definitely showed that there were going to be multiple failures at intersections, some a lot worse than others. If the city built out to that 25%, it also recommended some 33 off-site improvements, which as these developments come in, we compared to that Cool Springs study. We try to stick with those densities the best we can, and we look to implement a lot of those improvements. Not all the failures are terrible. Some are worse than others, but they're already, REM is doing a significant amount of off-site improvements. Ovation is doing a significant amount of off-site improvements. And so they're definitely coming to the table to try to help resolve a lot of these traffic issues. And as it's been stated multiple times, there's been 3 traffic engineers that have looked at this study. And happy to answer questions that you have specifics on.
Any other comments? Alderman Baggett, you're recognized.
So on that traffic study that was presented, or the table that the gentleman did present, I added up all the level of service F intersections, the increase going from 96 to Cool Springs, and the change in delay, and it was about 37 seconds on that trip of additional delay, and through those F intersections. So, can you explain for us and for the public? I know we've heard it, but what does actual F mean? Because when my daughters come home and they have F, if they got 5 Fs, it would not be a good night at the back household. But and it's not good in traffic either. Don't make no mistake. But kind of give us what does that mean? Who gives us those grading scales? Is 50 seconds waiting time? Is that, I think that's where a level F starts, or can you give just a frame of reference?
So F is essentially failure, and I'd say there's different levels of it. What the board ultimately settled in on was about 160 seconds was where it starts to be more extreme failure, and that's where you're starting to sit through 2 and 3 cycles. Now, there will be a few intersections that's going to happen long-term in the Cool Springs area, but the vast majority of them, that will not happen at. And so it's just really a way of ranking the delay that you're going to experience. So similar to the 96 interchange, those are pretty extreme delays. There will be some intersections at the interchange that you'll experience that, but that won't be throughout the Cool Springs area.
Not through the day.
And sorry,
Not throughout the day.
and not throughout the day. It'll just be those peak hours. Does that answer your question?
Ready to vote?
Mayor, we had the lady come up who was also the traffic engineer, I'm assuming,
Kennedy.
for the development. Can she come up?
Yes.
Come up. My question to you, do you have anything to add to what Paul just got through saying? You heard the presentation from the 2 gentlemen that came up and used whatever information that they used that we're now saying was incorrect. You agree that that information was incorrect, and do you agree with the summation that Paul just gave us?
Yeah, not necessarily that it was incorrect, but we worked with staff to kind of refine the analysis a little bit more. And so when you think about the Cool Springs area as a whole, there's a lot of conservative factors. We're looking at, lots of people coming into the Cool Springs area, not really accounting for interactions between the different developments. So once we honed in on that Carruthers and Cool Springs intersection, and we really focused on the traffic that was going to be there, that's where we came up with the conclusions with staff of what was going to be needed at that intersection, which is separate from in the appendix, which is why it's a little odd, like Paul mentioned, than a typical traffic study where you'd get the full final results in the bulk of the study.
But you did hear that Los Angeles wouldn't approve anything like that, right?
I heard. I don't work in Los Angeles, so I'm not sure.
I don't go to Los Angeles either, so.
Yep.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, might I just say that also those were numbers, also a lot of the information he had presented was before the improvements were required to be made.
Yes.
So those also triggered the original study and then the second one. So, thank you.
Vice Mayor,
That's Alderman Caesar.
well, I'm sorry, Alderman Caesar.
It's okay. I was waiting in one of the traffic intersections, and I
It was
think
only
Everybody's
15
favorite topic.
seconds.
there's only 15 seconds. But I'm glad we had this discussion. I'm thankful for the opportunity to review the process. I'm sure that many of my colleagues on this board received some of the emails that I did with some claims that not only were potentially flawed, but also called to question the integrity of our process and suggested that there was nefarious activity between a developer and our city and a third party who reviews this traffic study. And Paul, you mentioned it, but I don't think you underlined it enough. There's 3 different professionals, not just a guy that we find or a gal that we find in the street. These are 3 professionals that have reviewed this for an important reason. One is hired by the developer, right? One is reviewed by the city, and then a third independent. Is that correct? That's correct. To ensure that the developer and the city are not acting nefariously, and to build confidence in our community that we are looking at traffic and the impact that a development has. And so I was frustrated by some misinformation that got out that potentially tainted this, and disappointed, to be quite frank, that our city and our city staff would be doing things that are not looking for the best interests of our existing residents and new projects that are coming forward. So thank you for the time to share that.
Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
No.
Passes 7-1. We'll now go to item 15, which is ordinance 2025-22, an ordinance to rezone 27.19 acres Plan PD to another Plan PD for the Arium. Is there a motion?
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Seconded by Alderman Brown.
Good start.
You're recognized, Alderman
Thank
Berger.
you, Mr. Mayor. I just want to know if they also had, I think it is, I know they did, Mr. Gamble, they both did a study together as well. And so all those numbers are correct, what I have, the new ones, and the correct infrastructure improvements. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any other discussion? Ready to vote? Alderman Barnhill.
Yes.
Alderman Blanton.
Yes.
Alderman Caesar.
Yes.
Alderman Peterson.
Yes.
Alderman Berger.
Yes.
Alderman Brown.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Alderman Baggett.
Yes.
Passes unanimously. Is any other business that needs to come before this body? If not, I will entertain a motion from Alderman Blanton.
Let's get out of here.
Is there a
Second,
All in favor say aye.
second.